Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video where I talk about levels and see whether or not I like them. And today's video topic is about underwhelming levels. Basically, when there's a level that's been hyped up for months by the community or the creator themselves, but when the level actually came out, it didn't really live up to everyone's expectation, or at least my expectation. Now, here's the thing. Underwhelming level does not equal bad level. It's just the fact that when you hype a level up so much, you really need to live up to that expectation. In fact, I'd argue that hyping up a level would actually hurt a level's reputation more than it does help it. Not that I don't think you should hype up your level, but it's a note to be taken with the examples I give. Once again, these are purely my opinions, and if you don't agree with it, then more power to you. And also, don't send hate to the levels or creators that will be mentioned. I still think that most of these are quality levels on their own. It's just the fact that they didn't really deliver on what they promised. And with that out of the way, let's start the video starting with... Does anyone remember this level? So, if you didn't know, Subterranean Animism is basically a mega collab that's meant to be dedicated to and verified by the one and only EVW. Basically, an EVW Mega Collab meant to give him his first creator point. When this level was first revealed, it felt like it was gonna be a pretty big level, especially since it's made for one of the most beloved Geometry Dash YouTubers ever. But in my opinion, it ended up really generic and kind of boring. Let's trace it back to where people mostly know this level from, which is when Noboboy first posted his part on the level. He didn't reveal the name of the level, he just calls it the EVW Mega Collab. And it looked pretty promising. The decoration is reminiscent of Astro Divinity, or back then as it called God Eater. And it uses a banger song too. But after that preview from Noboboy, we didn't really get any news for a while. Until we finally get a look at the full level, and yeah, I'm sorry, it's a bit underwhelming for me. Listen, I love EVW as much as the next guy, and I'm sure he loved the level, but man, I think he kinda deserves better than this. My first problem with this level is the fact that compared to Noboboy's part, every part just looks so boring and generic. Listen, I know this level is mainly only meant to give EVW a creator point, but come on, you guys can do better than this. It also doesn't help the fact that Noboboy's part is the only known part in this level before it was fully shown off. Second off, the naming around this level is sort of odd. I know the name of the level is based off of Toho, and I know EVW has played Toho before, but I don't know, considering this level was made for him, I feel like just naming it just like EVW or Eric Van Wilderman would be much more fitting, considering this was first known to the public as the EVW Mega Collab. And finally, this one's a bit of a nitpick, but come on, you can throw in a little bit more EVW references in there. The only reference to EVW is in Noboboy's part where he lashed EVW's logo for like a second instead of the big one that's used for his name. Can you guys tell who did the most effort in this level? It's not like he's the only big name in this mega collab either, because we have people like Heinz, Rustem, Dudex, Darwin, and some other notable names. Like, come on, you can't sneak in a little "Are you ready for some badassery?" or maybe even sneak in his cube. I also found it funny that in the end screen, EVW is nowhere to be mentioned, like, come on. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed on this level because it really didn't live up to my expectations. I'm sure EVW loves it, but I just wish there was a bit more to it. Boy, if you think Foxycat is obsessed with eyeballs, I mean, look at this level. Innerd's story is pretty interesting. I actually didn't know this, but Innerd's actually started off as a medium demon, but got super buffed to hell to a point where it was near impossible. However, a lot of people actually didn't know this level until an OG YouTuber known as C1997 mentioned it when he was talking about upcoming top 1s. So that got a lot of people, including me, pretty excited. A level that a lot of people don't know that is a top 1 is being verified. Some people even said that the gameplay is silent or near impossible. It gave the level a sort of mysterious aura around it, and that got me pretty excited. The level looks pretty cool too. I really like how it's decorated, the atmosphere is really menacing, and the song choice is pretty unique. Not because it's never been used before, but hearing it on the top 1 is pretty cool. But as you can expect, because of its gameplay being nearly silent, it's been a pain trying to verify this level. So unfortunately, it has to be nerfed, and it was nerfed to hell so it can finally be verified. Listen, I still like the level as it is. I still love the decoration, the atmosphere, the song, and all of that. But man, this one kinda hurts the most to me compared to something like, I don't know, Blade of Justice, because this was a fairly unknown level before that C1997 video. So it's like seeing the underdog slowly going up. For context, right now, Inert's difficulty is about like a medium extreme demon, easier than Bloodbath. Do you wanna guess how hard the Unnerfed Iner is? It's considered harder than Firework. Now yes, I know that Unnerfed Iner is eventually verified recently, but man, imagine how long it would take to dethrone Unnerfed Iner. It would be a long time before it happens. Or even better yet, imagine how much harder the former top 1s would have been if Unnerfed Iner was verified back then. Again, I still like Iners and I'm sure it's fun to play now that it's nerfed, but it would just be cool to see a near impossible level be verified back then. Alrighty, this part of the video is the one that I mentioned in the community post where I needed one more level to put in this video because I had no idea what else to put in it. So shout out to Swansong and Disguisable for the suggestion. Molten Gear and its story is just sad, man. So for context, Molten Gear was originally gonna be called Fusion Z and it was originally made and hosted by Manix, meant to be the final level in his Fusion series. It was considered by many to be a masterpiece of a level even though it's not finished. However, in the middle of making Fusion Z, Manix became inactive and no one knew whether he quit the game or is just taking a break. But suddenly, Manix came back with an update video where he talks about his channel and the state of some of his levels. And as you can imagine, that includes Fusion Z. So what will happen to Fusion Z? Unfortunately, Manix decided that Fusion Z would be dead and he doesn't want it to be uploaded. This sent a shockwave to everyone in the community. All of the hard work from the creators was just for nothing at the end. And the level was honestly pretty much finished. But a lot of creators eventually respected Manix's decision. Except for one person, and that person is the one and only Nobleboy. Nobleboy argued that since the level is pretty much finished, the level should move its ownership to someone else, which I guess that someone else is Nobleboy. And the reason why he thinks this is because he doesn't want all this effort from all these creators to go to waste, and just cancelling the level out of nowhere just seems pretty unfair to Nobleboy. Obviously, Manix doesn't agree with Nobleboy and still wants the level to be dead. And you can probably guess that this sparked a whole lot of controversy in the community. Listen, you can argue all you want whether you side with Nobleboy or Manix, but at the end of the day, Fusion Z is still kinda dead. So Nobleboy made a big brain move to not revive Fusion Z, but rather make his own interpretation of it, with keeping some of the old parts from Fusion Z while adding in some new parts. And the final result of this is Molten Gear, and man, listen, I still think that Molten Gear is a good level, but with the context that this was once supposed to be Fusion Z, it hurts the level so much more. One of the problems I have with Molten Gear is the fact that the level is so inconsistent. The reason why that is because it's basically trying to fit two different eras into one level. The old parts look so dated compared to the new parts. Like, it's actually kind of hilarious when you compare like the beginning part with Zender Games part. Like, I wonder which one is made much more recently. Honestly, this level would have been much better if the old parts got some like touching up, and I get the level wants to keep the old stuff, but at some point you gotta realize that old dated parts does not really match up with the new parts. This is honestly a rare Nobleboy L. Woodkit is such a mess to talk about, let me tell you. However, if you ask me, this level was dead when the first full preview was revealed. But let's go back in time. Besides God Eater, you could not escape from Woodkit back in the day. This is because it was one of the most visually impressive art levels back then. In fact, God Eater and Woodkit was compared with each other back then. The art was impressively drawn, especially for the standards back then. We'll get back to that later. And the gameplay was potentially top 1, in fact, even seemingly near impossible in some parts. We'll get back to that later as well. However, the level went on a long hiatus, which, understandable with the whole scale of the project, until it returned with some design changes and some optimization and some new art as well. Let's talk about that. A user known as Aladoxa exposed the creator Jakers for tracing and stealing multiple art that wasn't his that's featured in Woodkit. And listen, you can argue that taking art from the internet and putting it in a Geometry Dash level is not that big of a deal, cause I don't know, I guess it's just a game. But as an artist myself, which by the way, you can commission me if you want to support me further with this channel and my college, this is a pretty scummy move, especially since he didn't credit any of the artists. Because I see Geometry Dash levels as art as well. Hell, it's the reason why I started making videos yapping about levels in the first place. And as an artist, hell, as a human, you know that taking art that isn't yours is not acceptable unless you credit the artist and their original work. Even then, there's a gray area around that. And no, Jakers didn't credit any of the art featured, nor did he ask the artist for permission. So what did Jakers do after this exposal? Well, he did the decent thing and apologized and took down all the art. I'm just kidding, he won't do anything, which doesn't help with Woodkit. Like, come on man, it's the least you could do, but this just seems insulting to the artist you stole from. And from then on, so much trouble ensues. Let's see here, we have the song artist Woodkit denouncing the level for using his song, the original verifier Boldstep stepping down after he learned about the controversy and even got blocked from Jakers. Jakers claiming crediting the artist was impossible due to them being impossible to find, which was BS. The new former verifier Alex was apparently not fit to beat Woodkit and even worse milked Woodkit for views. Zanny picked up as the new verifier, but allegedly Alex sold the copy of Woodkit to someone named Keshi but blames it on Zanny. Alex should be out of this, but turns out he abuses his girlfriend. Zanny dropped the level, making that 3 former verifiers. Woodkit was released on the servers as an auto level which didn't even work. The verification got handed to a player named Joaquin Mix who did verify the level. However, the level ended up being around top 40 to top 50. God, I don't think there has been any other level with as much controversy as Woodkit. And if you ask me, a lot of this could have been avoided if Jakers just either credit the artist or make the art himself. And this results in me feeling like the whole level just feeling, how do I say this, fake? Not only is the art just not made by the creator/host, the level didn't even deliver on being top 1. I hope a lot of creators learn from the Woodkit controversy regarding originality and crediting the artists. And so those are what I think are some pretty underwhelming levels. Well, that's the end of the video. Did you agree or disagree with my opinions? Maybe there's a level that you think deserves to be in this video. Let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll put it in a sequel if I ever make one. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe since I'm trying to hit 3K by the end of the year. That's all I have for you today and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.